In our other headlines, environmental protesters staging what they describe as an onslaught by land, sea and air on the Kingsnorth power station in Kent. They want to shut down the site, but some 1,400 police are trying to stop them. Let's bring you the live pictures we're just getting from the Skycopter as we see these protesters making their way across to the police cordon. Some 1,500 protesters, it's estimated, at the so-called Camp for Climate Action outside this Kingsnorth power station near Hoo in Kent. They are protesting against these plans to create a new generation of coal-fired electricity plants, including Kingsnorth. And police officers from 26 forces across Britain drafted in to try to stop them. Indeed, the protesters say they will break the law to try to achieve their aim of shutting down the power station and have what they say is a four-pronged strategy. One group of campaigners leading this procession to the main gates. Another, they say, will be using undergrowth. Another group aiming to make what they call is a secret air approach. Not quite sure how they're going to achieve that. While the fourth is staging a raft regatta along the River Medway. But certainly the police say they will be taking measures to try to stop that. I have to say that that looks rather less than 1,500 people there in this particular group. I think we can speak now to Catherine Jacobs, our environmental correspondent, who is there. Catherine, tell us a little bit more about this four-pronged approach they talk about, particularly at air assault, which seems rather unlikely.
Yes, well, you just mentioned that I think the pictures you're seeing is less than 1,500 people. That's because the main march, which left from here actually about 10 minutes ago, does involve more than 1,000 people and has headed off peacefully with the police towards Kingsnorth. What you're actually seeing from the helicopter are what they're calling breakout groups. A little earlier today, around 150 or so protesters who decided, presumably, they didn't want to be stopped and searched, as most people here have been, both in and out of the camp, decided to run through fields towards the power station along the power lines. Now, as we understand it, with someone who's with them, there have been some arrests made from within that group. There has, as we understand, been an altercation, and there have been a couple of injuries too. We also understand that a separate group, who are known as the Great Rebel Raft Regatta, well, they were planning on sailing a flotilla of makeshift rafts and vessels along the Medway towards the jetty at Kingsnorth. Now, the harbour master has put a ban on that regatta, and so the chief of police here has said that actually, had the protesters got into the water, well, they would have been breaking the law. We understand that some protesters have indeed managed to float their vessels today on the Medway, and we understand too that there have been some arrests made. As you've said, there was also another group planning an air assault, but as I understand it anyway, that doesn't actually mean people going into the power station. That means objects instead, though we're still not entirely sure what exactly those objects will be. And as we said too, that there are other breakout groups that are going to be trying to go in over or under or through fences, indeed, or using any other means, they say, to get into Kingsnorth, because as you've mentioned already, there are protesters here who are willing to break the law, they say, to send the government and E.ON, the company behind Kingsnorth, a clear message. In other words, they don't want new coal, and they are prepared to break the law, put their own liberty at risk, they say, to stop it.
Given the numbers of police involved, I think, some 26 forces across Britain have sent officers. Do they have any chance of actually getting into the power station?
You're good on your feet, look.
Well, one would have thought not. I mean, security has been immensely tight here throughout the week. I'm surrounded at the moment by many, many police officers at the front entrance, and as you've mentioned, up to 1,400 on duty every day from 26 forces. Now, there have been claims and counterclaims, actually, from protesters and police all through the week as we've been following the story. On Monday, there were some skirmishes, you could call them, between protesters and police, more than 30 arrests made already, and a group of MPs wrote to Kent Police after that to complain that civil liberties were being jeopardised here and that the police were being too heavy-handed. In return, the police say that their actions are absolutely justified, and they claim they've found a number of items which they've confiscated. Among them, they say, a stash of knives which could have been used for illegal activity, perhaps today, on the day of direct action. So yes, very tight security indeed. We, the media too, have been searched on our way towards the camp because the police say they don't want anyone here causing trouble. They're happy to police a peaceful protest, but they certainly don't want any altercations. All of those protesters now on their way to Kingsnorth Power Station.
Catherine, thank you very much indeed. And of course, we'll stay with the skycopters. It follows this, as Catherine said, breakaway group, some of those 1,000 or more protesters attempting to enter the King's North Power Station. Stay with us.